All right, we'll go ahead and get started. So today is September 22nd. So today we're going to be learning about camp kitchen setup, cooking checklist, a stoveless cooking, and what cold soaking is. So you know how we've explored like different ways of backcountry cooking where it doesn't involve anything but putting the ingredients together? Well, today we're going to start talking about different methods of cooking. Like actually where you have to add stuff to it instead of just putting all the ingredients together. Okay, so our kitchen setup, camp kitchen setup. So the first thing that you want to do is you want to select your site. So you want to make sure that when you are camping, you have a spot, an area that is flat, right? So you don't want it to be super rocky or your stove might fall over or your table might fall over. So you want a flat, fire safe area. So you don't, if you're going to be cooking with the stove, you don't want to be set up right next to a bush or tall grass because that would be really dangerous, right? And you also want to go at least 200 feet away from your tent. Why do you think you'd want to go 200 feet away from your tent? Fiona?
So if you because you don't want it to be too close to your tent because the like kitchen area will always kind of like smell like food, and you don't want like animals to be attracted to your tent or something.
Yeah, totally. Rio?
Um, Maybe also because if there's like a fire and it gets out of hand, you don't want it to like burn your campsite or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So you want to keep it away for fire safety and for animals because if there's
I thought you were gonna say keep it away 200 feet away from water, but I mean it's fire and water.
yeah, from your tent, yeah, so that the food is away from your sleeping area so that you don't attract animals into where you're sleeping. So setup, if possible, you want to set up near a large flat rock. So think of this as your backcountry countertop. So it's good to have like a solid rock surface that's flat instead of working on like the dirt. I mean, the dirt is okay, but a hard surface is ideal when cooking. And then you can use it like as a chopping board if you need to, or there's so many different things that you can use with a large flat rock. You also want to be semi-close to water when you're setting up your kitchen. So you want to collect all the water that you need for a meal. And if it's really far, if you're hiking with a lot of water, then that's going to make it more difficult to cook, right? So you want to be kind of near water. And you also want to plan for all the water, getting all the water before you cook for cooking, cleaning, and topping off your water bottle so you don't have to go collect water multiple times. And then finally, you want to prep your food. So you want to prepare all your ingredients. So that means chopping, slicing, measuring, and then setting them aside so that you have everything ready to go to begin cooking. So cooking checklist. So if you follow this checklist, then you're gonna be safer, you're gonna smell better, and you'll feel better because you're gonna be organized. So first you wanna set up a hand washing station. You wanna have soap and water readily available. And when you're not at camp or when you can't have like a hand washing station, then you can have hand sanitizer. How I like to set up a hand washing station is I just put it, like if I'm in the front country, then I put usually the soap by the spigot, or if I don't have a spigot, then I put it by a jug of water so that then I can just dump the water in my hands and have the soap right there and it's all in one spot.
Oh yeah, I'm allergic to hand sanitizer.
Oh yeah, so you'd want to have soap and water. You also can do like buckets, so have like a soapy bucket and then a clean bucket of water. That's really useful too for a hand washing station. The second thing that you want to have in your checklist is you want a food and trash storage. So right when you get to camp, you want to determine where you are going to be putting your food and storing your trash. Because if you're just leaving it on the ground, it's likely that some bugs or some critters like a raccoon or even a bear might get into it. So you want to set up a system. So whether you have a bear canister or you're going to be using a bear hang, want to make sure that you know what you're doing. Then you want to define your cooking area. So it's super important to put up boundaries when you set up your kitchen, because I have seen a lot of people like almost trip over stoves and get really hurt because they didn't have a clear defined cooking area. So when you guys go camping as a class, it's really important to set up your stove, and then even you can put sticks as barriers, or you can just tell everybody like, hey, this is the kitchen area, don't come in here, okay, unless you're part of the cooking crew or whatever. So make sure that everybody knows where the kitchen boundaries are. And this will avoid people falling or tripping into the stove or knocking over some hot water, can prevent a lot of injuries. So number 4 is you want to minimize contact with food. So you want to make sure that you're touching food as least as possible, because the more contact you have with your food, the more likely it is to spread bacteria in it. And it's really important to remember that if you're sick, let somebody else cook for the group, because you can transmit that bacteria and viruses to the food. So definitely you want somebody else to cook when you're sick. You want to be careful when you're serving hot food and drinks. So I've seen a lot of people come up and like with their cup, and I have like boiling hot water, and they want me to pour boiling hot water as they're holding the cup. Probably not a great idea, right? Because it's sometimes hard to aim the hot water or the hot food, and it could spill onto people's hands. And boiling hot water can cause serious injury. So you want to set it down on the ground or on your flat rock, so that then the cook can serve you. But you don't want to hold it while somebody's pouring. You want to immediately store all your food in trash. So right after you're done cooking, you want to make sure that you put it away. So if you have little containers or in Ziploc bags, you want to make sure that everything's put away so a bear is not going to smell it, and it'll hide that scent. And then, of course, you want to wash your dishes when you're done. Okay, so like we talked about for the last few times that we met, we've done like no cooking, right? We've just done throwing ingredients together. So we are going to start exploring different methods of preparing food, where it's not just throwing the ingredients together, that it's different types of processing the food. So the first type that we're going to explore is called stoveless cooking. What do you guys think stoveless cooking is? Anybody?
Me.
Cooking without a stove?
Yeah, cooking without a stove. Yep. What kind of cooking would that involve, do you think?
I don't know. Like stuff that you don't have to cook?
Yeah. Yeah, so stoveless cooking is just like the name says, it's without a stove. So it can be a variety of different things. The thing that we're going to talk about today that's stoveless cooking is cold soaked cooking. So we're going to learn how to cold soak today, and that's cooking without a stove. So stoveless cooking saves weight. That's why it's really good to have, because when you're cooking with a stove, like you have to pack the stove, you have to pack the fuel, the pot, all of those things. So it's a lot heavier in your pack. But when you stoveless cook, it saves you also money, because no fancy gear is required, right? Like I just said, there's no stove, there's no pot, there's no fuel. All you basically need is an empty jar. And it can even be something simple as like an empty peanut butter jar, is like what a lot of backpackers use. So stoveless cooking, it saves you time too, because it's super simple. You just add water or whatever it is to, or whatever liquid to it, and then let it sit for a little while, and then it's done. So it saves you cooking time, it saves you cleaning time, and just more time to enjoy while you're camping. Also, why you should go stoveless, or why it's a good idea to do stoveless cooking, is because you worry less. So you'll never run out of fuel or have to worry about your stove breaking. and you don't have to worry about washing dishes. It's just like a really worry-free cooking method for when you're out in the backcountry. So what types of foods are non-cooked foods, right? So when we're doing stoveless cooking, we have to look at non-cooked foods. So there's raw. So raw is fresh fruit and vegetables. But remember, those are heavy and they spoil quickly. So you want to make sure that you eat that at the beginning of your trip, or else it might go bad or get squished in your backpack. There's dehydrated food. So dehydrated food is easy to prepare at home with a dehydrator. And what a dehydrator does is it warms up your food just enough and circulates the air so that moisture is removed from the air. And when you moisture is removed from the food. And when you remove the moisture from the food, it creates lighter food. So then there's not so much weight and it stays fresher longer. But dehydrated food, you want to remember, it usually requires heat to get plumpy again. So you can't just like add water and eat it right away. Like you have to let it wait and plump up again. There's also freeze-dried food. Freeze-dried is similar to dehydrated food, but you can add just like cold water to that and it plumps up quicker than if you are doing dehydrated food. And the last type of non-cooked food is ready-to-eat packaged food. So this would be like tuna, anything that is ready to go and you don't need any preparation. Is there any questions so far? Okay, we're getting to the fun stuff now. So like I said before, we are going to be exploring cold soaking, which is a type of a stoveless cooking method. So what cold soaking is it's a cooking technique that uses cold water or liquid. So if you have milk or something like that, and you soak it, you just soak your food in order to cook it. So no stove is required. You just add cold liquid or room temperature liquid and let it sit. So all you need for cold soaking is food, water, and a sealed container. You can use a peanut butter jar, like mentioned earlier. A really popular jar for the backcountry is like a Talenti. You guys ever eaten this ice cream? This Talenti ice cream? It's really good.
My Auntie Haley
So
loves
good.
it.
Yeah, that
And-
ice cream is amazing.
Oh, so good. Yeah. So next time, maybe save your jar and try putting a cold soaked meal in it, or save it for when you guys go backpacking. These are super useful jars. Okay, so now we're going to explore. This is a short lesson today because I want you guys to have time to be off your screens more and do some more cooking. So we're going to be doing cold soak cooking today. And what we're doing is overnight oats. Have you guys ever tried overnight oats? Anyone? So what it is you take—
I love overnight oats.
You do? Awesome. So overnight oats is you take oats, like oatmeal, and then you take your choice of milk. So it could be almond milk, it could be cashew milk, coconut milk, real whole milk, whatever milk that you want. You can put yogurt in there if you want. I usually don't put yogurt in there, but you certainly can. And then you can add chia seeds and then some sort of sweetener, so sugar or honey or maple syrup or stevia, and then vanilla. So, but you definitely want to make sure that you have oats, a type of milk, and a type of sweetener. That's what's going to make it good. So you want to start with those 3 ingredients, and then I included over here ideas of what you can make, what you can add into it to make these different flavored oats. So you guys are going to do whatever you would like, whatever kind of overnight oats you'd like, or if you don't have any of these ingredients or none of them sound good to you, then you can just be creative and come up with your own recipe, and then you can share that recipe with us at the end. So I am going to leave this recipe up here, and if you guys are at home, I encourage you to go into your kitchen and try making one of these recipes. So basically all you do is you put everything in a jar and you shake it up It can be a glass mason jar, it can be a Talenti jar, a peanut butter jar, whatever you want, just as long as it doesn't leak. Because when you shake it, you don't want the milk spilling out, right? So feel free to use any of these or come up with your own. And let's come back at, give you 20 minutes so you can leave your screen. You can, or you can take it in the kitchen with you. As always, you guys have the choice. You don't have to stay at your screen. Come back at 10:40 and we will share our recipes and how it turned out. Have fun, guys. Be creative. And let me know if any of you guys have questions. Feel free to ask. I'll be right here at my computer.
So I'm like not very good at cooking and stuff like that, and I don't have many ingredients for cooking.
Mm-hmm. Do you have?
My mom
Gosh.
went to the grocery store yesterday, so I might have some ingredients, but I'm not very good at cooking. So
Yeah, well, the great thing about cold soaking is you don't have to be a great cook. It's just combining liquid with oats and then adding whatever ingredients you want, and then you let it sit overnight. Do you have oats, Joshua? Wait, was that Joshua that was talking?
So what I did shredded coconut, Nutella, chocolate chips, oats, and vanilla.
Ooh, yum. That sounds delicious, Fiona. Thanks for sharing. Remember to not eat it right now, that it needs to soak for a little while. Yeah, everybody should wait till at least dinner time to try it. But on Thursday, I want to hear about how all your guys' creations turned out.
I found grounded cumin.
Yeah, so you could put some of that in there. Just put a little bit though, Rio, because spices can be really strong.
Yeah.
In my opinion, cumin tastes really terrible, but everyone has their own opinions.
You don't like
Honestly,
cumin?
I think cumin literally just smells like tacos.
I agree. I think it's
tacos.
Yes.
That does not smell like tacos at all.
Okay, well at least mine smells like a taco. I'm not sure I want to put taco whatever on ramen though. I think my mom already knows about cold soaking.
I mean,
the other day she put like cashews in water and let it sit for like a day and did something with it.
Oh, I wonder if she was making cashew milk.
Honestly, well, no, it's not here anymore. I have no clue what she did with that. She just texted me like another day and said, "Can you put cashews in water for me?"
Oh, nice.
So.
Cool. All right, so who's still working? Hope you, you had a question, Hope? Hope you're on mute, Hope.
Oh, I put all the ingredients in there except for water. Do I fill it up all the way with water?
So fill it up just enough to cover it. Do you have any milk, or are you putting water in it?
I put milk in it.
Oh, okay, then you don't need to put water in it.
And also, I have like one of those jars with like a lid and also a screw-on thing. Like, I
mason jar.
don't know where the lid part of it is. Can I use a paper towel instead?
Sure, yeah. Just make sure that you're not shaking it then, because it'll get all over.
Honestly,
just stir it.
Honestly, I can't find any good spices.
Okay, well, you can just have it plain then, Rio.
All I have is ramen noodles. I could put like a little bit of pepper or salt in it. But
Do you have some like hot sauce?
yes.
You could put a little bit of hot sauce in it. Remember not to put too much.
Yeah, we have a bunch of hot sauce.
Yeah, if you like hot sauce, try doing that.